Well, the packages just keep coming.
Yeah, our crowdfunding addiction is maybe a problem,
Maybe.
but we'll talk about it over a cup of coffee.
Yes.
Welcome to Wisco Dice. Hey, yo, folks, I am your host, Conesy with Most, and I am joined today by...
Hey, I'm Suzanne.
Hey, and, well, we're just amazed at how often the boxes just keep showing up. And this may or may not have to do with our joy of crowdfunding.
Yes, does not have to do with any holiday purchases.
Definitely doesn't have anything to do with our FOMO or anything like that. Not at all. No, not here. Yeah, so we thought it would be fun to go over our lists of what we currently have outstanding as of this coming weekend, basically, of games. At least the games that we haven't gotten shipping notices for that are coming to us from various crowdfunding sources. Games, gaming related stuff, all of that kind of goodness, and just kind of compare lists and talk about what we've backed.
Yes, because we don't necessarily back them together and don't always talk about it.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't have anything that is in common.
I really hope that didn't happen.
Oh my gosh. Well,
usually if there's something we think the other's interested in, we at least mention it, but
right.
Anyways, if you're like us and you have one too many games probably out there supported on crowdfunding, let us know in the comments. We'd appreciate it. And while you're at it, whether you have too many games out there on crowdfunding or not, please make sure you smash that like button as well as subscribe to the channel. It really does help us, and we appreciate it. And whether it's us or any other content creators that you really enjoy their content, make sure you do that. It goes a long ways to helping support them and their channel. So today,
yeah.
From a coffee perspective, it's a little stronger than coffee, I think, today. So we've got a little Goose Island Bourbon Barrel Stout in our cups. So it's the traditional Thanksgiving release of their beer, but this is, I think, the 2022 edition of that beer, maybe the 21. I'm not sure.
It with the coffee and board games because they usually have a little coffee flavoring in some of them.
Normally we're filming the board games and coffee in the morning, and unfortunately this week has been crazy, and we're going to be busy at Protospiel Madison all this weekend. So with no time to get this shot, we went ahead and filmed a little early. Shame on us. Don't worry. Board games and coffee will be back to some kind of regular schedule coming at you hopefully next week.
With all right. Actual coffee.
With actual coffee instead of beer.
Well, we might find something else to add to it, but who knows?
I mean, you could have tea. Board games and coffee could get extended to tea. It's getting extended. We're from Wisconsin.
He's going to tea. I'm thinking Kahlua.
Okay. I mean, if you need to put a little whiskey in with your coffee, it's fine. Just whatever you got to do to get through board games and coffee. All right, but whatever you're drinking while you're enjoying this, make sure you let us know in the comments. We really do appreciate that. And, you might get called out like some of these fine folks that their little clips are potentially popping up during this intro on the screen, assuming that I remember to edit that in.
Anyway, Conesy, what do you have? You have a much longer list.
We're going to start with my list, and we're going to start first with when I'm going through my list.
2 pages, but my page is a tiny page, and his is
mine's a full sheet paper.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start with the stuff I've backed on Kickstarter, and the first gaming related thing that I've backed on Kickstarter, and this is one you don't know about, is the I think it's actually maybe currently still running too, is the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness from Palladium Games. I backed it at the Ninja Warrior core level, And what this is Palladium Games has their Heroes Unlimited game system where you can play superheroes. And then back in like the 80s, they had expansions for like spies, so that you could play like a James Bond kind of character in the system. And then they added in various other supplements and add-ons to the system. And the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness was originally published as one of those supplements. Well, this is going to be a kind of refresh of that. They've got the original comic book artists involved, and so a refresh, update, some new cover art, and of course it's Ninja Turtles. And
so you have to back it then.
I had to back it.
I missed it.
I had to back it.
I missed it actually.
And it's a. I will say from a role playing perspective, the Heroes Unlimited gaming system is. It's a little bit of a crunchy game system as far as rules, and it needs a good game master to run balance. But it is one of my favorite all-time role-playing experiences when I was at camp playing in that system. So I'm very excited. I still have the core system on the shelf. I'm very excited that we're going to get this. This is something that I have some interest in. It might be something that we get to the table at some point and actually play this game system with some people playing
yeah,
it.
we have to. It has Ninja Turtles.
I mean, it's an RPG, which I know you're not a fan of.
I know, but for Ninja Turtles, I may just make a sacrifice and play it. What else you got on there?
I'm gonna, since I have a larger list, we're gonna go through like a couple of mine to every one of hers. But I'll talk about this. We had an interview with the designer of this game not that long ago. We'll have a link to the episode in the show notes. Or in the description down below. But this is Lands of the Mesoic from the Pungo games.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is...
Wow, yes,
yeah, the guy
I'm
was...
super excited for this game to come.
Yeah, so...
He was a blast to talk to.
He was a really good blast to talk to, and very much into the science of the Mesozoic period, and really making sure, we would say things about dinosaurs, and he would correct us, and... Yeah, it was a lot of fun having that interview, and we're really excited for this game.
Yes.
I mean, it's another great dinosaur title to add to the collection, and who doesn't love dinosaurs?
I mean,
and let me correct myself. It is not a dinosaur game. It is a game about the Mesozoic period, which is
all the different animal,
the different critters,
that were there,
plant life, whatever habitats that were available, which the dinosaurs were part of during the Mesozoic period.
Yes.
All right. What's something you have backed?
So can I start with one that I haven't backed, but as soon as it's live, I'm going to back it?
I suppose, since you need to have something to talk about to keep up with my list.
I have plenty to talk about. I will just start off by saying I was making my list and I was going, oh shoot, I have a lot out there still that I didn't realize. But Galactic Cruises, I am super psyched for that game to be coming out. I have my reminder on, so when it launches, it's a Kickstarter campaign. Artwork by Ian O'Toole, who's done lots of other games you've probably heard of, Black Angel.
He's
like just
a
ton of them.
Artist,
yes, and of course, like just a lot of On Mars, stuff like that. But this game, I really think I saw at Gen Con in the playtesting room, but couldn't get a spot to playtest it. But you are managing a cruise ship that is a cruise in space versus a cruise on water here. And you are managing it with other players, or each have your own ship, but together you are trying to build up the company, but also make your ship the best. And I just thought it sounded like a really fun theme.
And it's a space game.
And it's a space game. It's about cruising, which how many games about cruising do we have?
I don't think we have any.
Yeah.
I guess we'll have to take it with us when we go on our space cruise.
Yes. So I just think that looks like a lot of fun. So that one I'm waiting for. That one will be back as soon as I hit
you did talk about it on our most recent episode of the audio show 117. So
yes. Yes, I'm excited about it. What else you got?
All right, so I'll kick off another couple of games. So, Stone Spine Architects, if I could say it right, from Thunderworks Games. I got a chance to play this game, or at least the prototype copy, at GameholeCon just recently, and I talked about it a bit on that game or on that video link somewhere up there. And so Stone Spine Architects is really a card drafting game, and then you're going to place the cards in your tableau in rows, and each round is a row. You have 4 rows ultimately that'll create this dungeon, and in this dungeon, it'll populate it with monsters and traps, and you're going to get bonus points at the end of the game if you match certain patterns and placements of where the monsters are in your dungeon based on your end game scoring cards. You're going to gain points for a few other things. So but it's all having to do with the construction of your dungeon. Do you have the stone rooms in the right place? Do you have the natural caverns in the right places? Do you have the hobgoblins in the right places? Whatever the case, the oozes and treasures and traps. It was really fun. My biggest, most exciting thing is, and I know it was the prototype version, but as soon as I was done playing it, I wanted to play more. I wanted more of this game, and I was kind of let down that the game was already over. So I'm really looking forward to getting a copy of it because I want to play the game more. I think it's going to be a great filler game. I think it's a perfect game, and it's from the same designer that did Cartographers for Thunderworks games.
Is it in the same universe?
Yeah,
Dawn of Ulos and Role Player and everything. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So whereas Cartographers, you're going out and mapping the world. In Stone Spine Architects, you're kind of like the baddie creating the dungeons that are that the critters live in.
That's pretty cool.
So another one that I backed in this one is Inventions, Evolutions of Ideas from Eagle Griffin Games.
You backed that one?
Yeah, I backed this one.
Oh, good. I thought I missed that one.
So that's on the list. That's definitely backed. Got it in the English version, whatever the full bling.
Not the French version?
Nope, not the French version. I know you wouldn't mind, but the rest of us would. So this is...
I don't know if there's a French version.
Who the designer is. Now I should have wrote it down on my notes. But it's the same designer for like the game On Mars and a bunch of other... Yeah, Vitaly Lacerda.
How can you forget him?
I'm not great at remembering names.
Neither am
but
right.
This is, kind of... I'm fully expecting a very brain thinky, exhausting, we'll probably play this game once a year kind of game that is very much kind of tracking through history the evolution of human ideas and how they grow and maybe get better, take off or don't take off. It looked really good.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It looked really good. And versus like say Kanban. Like I know there's a lot of people that are out there that love Kanban, but the idea for me of playing like, hey, I have the board game has a boss and I'm literally running a factory and running that factory engine the whole time. Wasn't necessarily the most inspiring thing, but we really do like On Mars, even though it doesn't get to the table nearly as much. And this one looked like a really good game. We missed out backing Weather Machine, so I'm looking forward to getting our second actual Lacerda game in our collection, and this one looks like it's going to be right up our alley.
Yeah, we need to find Weather Machine too.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I'm going to note as you start going through your list, and I'm looking at mine, is that I love playing the crunchier games. Mm-hmm. I really like them, but I don't come on Kickstarter.
They're usually more expensive, and you don't like backing things that are expensive.
No, and we'll get to why in a little later on in my list. But
there's some large numbers. I also kind of jotted down how much I spent on each one of these, and that's before going into like backing, the pledge managers and maybe adding on some add-ons. There might be some price tags that are steep.
I rarely spend more than $50 backing a game.
Yeah, I don't really.
If it's more than that, I usually want to make sure I've seen it. I'm sure Galactic Cruises is going to be more than that, but I'm going to back it anyway. So anyway, speaking of totally different theme than what Conesy's been going through, is what I backed recently is Till Death Do Us Part by Scott Lingtow. I believe this is his first game he's created.
Yeah, this is definitely not on my radar.
Nope. And I backed at the VIP special level, which just meant I had signed up for his pre-notifications and got early access and a discount. But this was brought to my attention by my coworker and friend Katie, And we were looking at it one day. Instead of talking about some work project, maybe for a minute, we took a break. And just laughing hysterically over the description of this game. And you are basically, it reminded me a little bit of Gloom, where you're trying to like inherit. You're trying to kill off your family and inherit. And it's this
Gloom,
like,
you're just trying to be the most miserable family out
right.
there. But this sounds like you're trying to...
You're trying to just... You're married to someone in the game, and you're trying to build up as much wealth so that when it's just you standing there, you're coming out on victorious. Yeah, so it's just like, it's going to be a silly, fun little like game. The designer of it is putting out some great updates and very humorous updates, which adds to some of the fun too and everything. So
I mean, it sounds like it'll be kind of a game that'll fit actually pretty well on our game nights.
Yes. Yep.
Like our normal game night crew that shows up on Thursdays tends to like the little bit lighter. They tend to gravitate a little bit to the more lighter games.
It's a work night for most everyone and everything. So yeah, so that's one of them. I guess before we keep going on my list, you get another two.
I'm going to cover these are the two projects that I probably spent, I definitively spent the most money I've ever spent on a crowdfunding project ever.
Oh no, this is not good.
So the one of them you know about, or both of them you know about.
I know how much you've spent on crowdfunding projects in the past that are pretty high.
So the first one is no. So yes, the one is. So the one is okay. The Gwen gaming table
when you see us recording from a cardboard box, you know why.
No, so we talked about this one. This is the Gwen gaming table project from Geek and Son.
Yeah. Yes.
And so this is we backed at the early bird Merlin level, so slightly discounted.
Okay.
The Merlin table is the largest table that they had in this project. And when they put this project out, we were in process, or we are still in process of building out the studio. So we will be moving into our studio room sometime, hopefully in the spring at 24, when this table arrives. And we're going to finish the studio remodel sometime this winter before the table arrives. Knock on wood.
We will.
And the dog's excited about it as well. We're sitting at a Geek and Son. They're sitting at the Henry Geek and Son table, and we absolutely love it.
Yes.
And so when this came out as a crowdfunding project, and we were looking for a table to fill in there, and we were talking about maybe building something, we just said, this is going to make our life easier. It'll get delivered to the door, and we know it'll be a high-quality gaming table.
Yes, plus if we're going to build a gaming table, we would have had to invest in some more woodworking tools, which would have put the cost more than this.
Yeah, probably not that much, but... we did spend quite a bit of money on this one. Not nearly as much as this Henry, but we did spend quite a bit of money on that one. The next one is the BattleTech Mercenaries Kickstarter, which was this spring.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, and we were just getting into BattleTech, and we talked about it, and yeah, so I pretty much threw enough money at it that I got plenty of everything that will be coming out as part of this wave of the Mercenaries wave of BattleTech, so that we will never need to go to the store and buy a bit extra of BattleTech Mercenaries. Maybe some Clan Wars or the Clan Wars of the Invasion or whatever series stuff, and the original Wave 1 BattleTech stuff from Cadillac.
Or we'll have enough to play with.
There will be enough here for us to play BattleTech for the next 10 years probably.
When you start winning BattleTech tournaments, then we can talk about buying more stuff.
That would require me to actually play enough to play a BattleTech
That's why it's a smart financial decision to have that.
When I consider like how much money in various miniature games that I've spent, this is not that much really, but it is a pretty good chunk of money in one Kickstarter.
Yeah, I get it. Well, so next up on my list should not be a surprise for many of you who have either listened to our podcast or watched this YouTube channel before. It is more Terraforming Mars. Terraforming Mars is my number one favorite game. And I realize that's controversial for some of you, but I just really enjoy it. More Terraforming Mars is going to get us more Prelude cards. I did not back everything. I backed it at the
Is this the
Scout
Prelude 2?
Edition. Yes.
Ah,
It's
okay,
like
so this is the
Prelude
Prelude
2.
2
And then
Kickstarter.
it had some other things like some solo and some fan made maps and everything. But since I don't get it to table enough, I just got more Prelude cards basically.
Yeah,
Think.
those
So,
Prelude cards are always great.
yeah, they just help jumpstart the game and give people who aren't as used to playing the game some direction on how and what their first few moves should be. So, yep.
No, that's cool. Like, and it'll give us an excuse to make sure we get the Terraforming Mars back to the table, which is nice. So I like that game too.
I play it solo, so it gets to the table, but it's more fun with people.
So I got a couple more. First one, and I'm not sure why or how I backed this one, but it's the Lands of Oz game from Escape Velocity Games. So they had like this pack of novel games. So like basically it was a pack of all of their little smaller they're generally not super expensive games, but you could get the whole like retail versions of like 3 or 4 games in one at one backing level. So I just backed it at that. And if there are a couple of games here we actually play and enjoy out of the like 3 or 4 games that we're going to get, I figured it was worth it. So that's the Lands of Oz Kickstarter from Escape Velocity Games. And of course, Wizard of Oz themed. It should, I don't know if I enjoy it as much, but I think that I think it'll be appreciated, especially on like our Thursday night game nights.
Yes.
The next one is from my favorite third-party 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons publisher, GUI Cube. If you play D&D and you're really looking to expand your game, especially if you run or GM games, you should definitely go look at GUI Cube products. They are exceptional for those of you who are sitting in the Dungeon Master seat like myself.
They actually are really intriguing, and the artwork that comes along with them, it has made me very tempted to play an RPG.
Yeah. I mean,
it is.
It is the next. As soon as we finish up the Rime of the Frost Maiden for our D&D group right now, I plan on actually running the big box set, several chapters worth of GUI Cube published product, and we'll see what happens with that. Knock on wood, we'll see what happens. Anyways, this was the Blood for the Con Kickstarter, which is expanding their Mornwood and the Blood for the Con expansions to the game. These are going to explore regions that are outside of the kind of core box set chapters of the main campaign that they're doing. These are going to be just continuing to explore the game world and other locations and areas away from that main area to give you more context for everything that goes on with this setting in this world.
Very cool. So you want to know what's next on my list?
What is it?
This is one of the recent ones. A host on our podcast show, Justin, does Kickstart Monday.
Yes.
And it's very, very bad for me at times because I looked at it and I saw this and I'm like, oh, I'm going to go back that one. Not 100% sure what the game exactly is about. It's called Avant Card, which I believe is a play on Avant Guard. And it is an art-themed game with artwork, which I do enjoy those. They just look pretty. Mary Flanagan's the designer for it. I backed it at the Kickstarter edition. I think there was only one edition to back it at. It is a card game. We're going to see when it comes what it's like and be hopefully pleasantly surprised with it.
I mean, you like Canvas and Starving Artists, which are in their collection.
Oh, yes.
So hopefully
if there's artwork on it, yes. Like Modern Art. We have Modern Art, the card game. That Ryan Kinitio. I'm like, I like seeing the artworks because it's not that easy to go to see them in person. So,
all right. Well, I'm at least beyond half a page of my titles now. But getting back into board games again, and we're going to talk about big miniature board games now. So the first one's going to be Cthulhu Death May Die, the Fear of the Unknown, which just recently
you did back
I
that
did back
one.
that at the Unknowable Pledge, which is I think just the core game and maybe like a little bit more
That's
than the core
fine.
game.
We had
I've
missed
been
out on
really
that the first
wanting to
time.
play that game. It
Yeah.
sounds like it's a lot of fun. This version of it seems like they've addressed in the rules a number of like little rules problems. It's almost like this one felt like to me like this was a second edition of the game without saying it's second edition. So I'm really excited to get it. It's pretty close, I think, to because Simon is really good about getting things produced and getting it shipped to backers relatively quickly. So I think this is going to show up hopefully sometime early 24 and be in our hands so we can actually play it. And
Nice.
yeah, we'll definitely be letting you know what we think of that Cthulhu Death May Die after we've had a chance to play it a couple of times.
If it could come before summer, that would be great because then we have plenty of time to play while it's
Yeah.
cold and
Come
snowy
summertime,
outside.
we still get a lot of games in the
Oh,
summer,
yeah.
but it's definitely there's
It's
more challenges
harder to
to it.
sit inside.
But then the other big miniatures game that I've got on the list is there's probably a couple more, but this one is Batman Gotham City Chronicles, the season 3. Now this is I did not back season 2, so I don't have that
I
content,
thought we were missing
and I did
something.
not expand. I did not include the season 2. I didn't really care for the characters so much that they had in it, and the rules were so kind of janky for Gotham City Chronicles that compared to Conan, which is the other game from Monolith that runs basically the same system, I just prefer to run Conan because it works versus being a bit frustrated about setting it up. But
But Batman's cool because you know the characters most of us.
it is, but and that's why I backed it originally. But then
Yeah.
trying to play it was very painful, and so it doesn't get to the table.
Yeah, it's got like the different levels
But
and stuff, right?
the biggest reason why I came back and I chose to back season 3 is because Monolith also acknowledged that the rules were poorly written. And so they hired Paul Grogan from the Gaming Rules channel to rewrite and help them rewrite and rebuild the rule book. And because of that, I'm very excited to get an updated copy of the rules with clarified scenarios that'll go through all 3 seasons of products with character reference cards with what all their abilities mean and like plain in English, so it's handy for as the players for references. I think it's going to make the game so much better for everyone that gets to play it at the table and that experience. I'm really excited to have that, and I think that may, if it really does increase the experience, I think that game may come out on the table quite a bit more often. And I have so much content just from season 1 to play through that I would love to play through that I'm really excited to hopefully be able to finally get to use it.
That'd be nice. It's doing a really good job of keeping our game shelves from tipping over by giving it some bottom weight.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it's doing right now.
Well, it's not the only one doing that. So, all right. So next up for me is at another one that this one was not on our Kickstart Monday, but it's by AG. It's called Let's Go to Japan. I backed it at the festival goer level, and on this one, it just their advertising got me. I was a sucker for it. You're like going on this trip and playing this itinerary in Japan, and there's requirements, and you're trying to match different types of places, and it's like set collection but not set collection, and you get to see some cool artwork. And a place that it's on my bucket list to go visit is Japan. At some point, I'd really like to do that. I am trying to learn Japanese. It's going very slowly, but hopefully we won't need.
I've got a friend in Japan too, so we'll probably visit. With him.
So we won't be relying on my Japanese skills of being able to ask for rice and water, and that's all I can order. So it's a diet try going there, I guess. A rice and water diet.
You're probably still going to be like a diet going there because you won't be able to eat anything anyway, since it's all full of seafood.
So, but anyway, so let's go to Japan. It's gonna be another game night game, light fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking it might be a great one to take to conventions too, for when you're sitting there waiting
Sure.
between ticket events and everything.
Sure.
So, what else you got there?
So I'm gonna hit just the one game here before and then I'll do two on my next one. But so this one is actually not a game. It is the Reaper Bones Wave 6 Tales from the Green Griffin project, which I backed at the core set level. I think I added in a dragon or two as well because they're dragons. But if you're not familiar with Reaper and Reaper Bones, they have a massive range of low-cost fantasy figures, and these Bones Kickstarters are usually a great way to add or amass a lot of fantasy figures for a fairly affordable price to your collection once they ship to you. And I backed like their the season 2 I think Kickstarter, their Bones 2 Kickstarter back whenever that was years ago, and I had a heap of that stuff. And as I went into the Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign, it was a great source of characters and figures that I could just quickly grab and paint up for my D&D game. And that's exactly what this is, just going to help supplement and add to that collection of additional figures for my RPG fantasy games that I run. So it was a great affordable way to add to it.
Very cool. So adding to collections, I am adding to our Canvas game collection.
Oh, cool.
The third in this series, the third and final installment is Canvas Finishing Touches by Road to Infamy. And I think it's only one level. You get the game or you don't, and I think you can. And since I have the other two, I didn't need any of the extras. I do kind of want to find a place to hang these on the wall because I think the box art looks cool and it's designed to do that, and it's just gonna be more content for the game. I'm not sure if it's gonna change gameplay or not, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, no,
it'll be pretty. It's a silly game.
It's a fun game, yeah.
Yeah,
I like that one actually. So
he likes a game I'm backed. Yay!
We talked about this one too, so I knew that was back.
Yes.
So the next two projects are my final Kickstarter projects that I backed on Kickstarter, and these projects go back pre-pandemic. So
we're still waiting for them.
Still waiting for them. Now, both of them have had very positive news coming out in their campaigns so far. One of them's a game, one isn't. So the one I have a lot more confidence in than the other at this point in being able to receive, but it's looking more positive right now. So hey, there's that. Fingers crossed, right? So the first one is Delaris Infinite Legacy from Academy Games. And I had backed this. This is something back when I was writing the Kickstart Mondays, and I saw this game, and I'm like, ooh, sci-fi game, big, kind of meaty campaign, lots of stuff. I think there's a video game that it's based on I'm not really familiar with, but it looked right up yours and my alley. So I backed it. And I backed it right away on like day one. And it's been stuck in design. Like it hasn't even gotten out of design yet. So we'll see if we ever get it or not, but they keep posting updates, and I think they said they had the figures finally going off the manufacturing. So that's a positive. So there's some positive news coming out of that camp for that one. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not holding my breath either. Might be just out of the cache. We'll find out. The next one is from Zombie Orpheus, and that is Journey Quest Season 4. So if you haven't watched Journey Quest on YouTube or wherever, it is an absolutely hilarious series where there are 3 seasons that are currently out that you can watch right now. And if you're like me, you will laugh and at the silliness. And Zombie Orpheus, these are the guys that do like the Gamers Live. They're the folks that did like the movie Darkness Rising, and
so it's like an RPG.
The Gamers. So it's like we go and watch them put on their show at Gen Con the last couple of years too, right? So it's
every
the
year
same.
I've gone, so like 4 years I think now.
So so very entertaining, and if you like that humor, then this is definitely absolutely going to come. And basically they ran the project, and then as the project funded, the pandemic hit, and they couldn't film because nobody could get together and do anything. So they like worked on the script, and then it took like 2 years for them before they could even start getting things together. And then it was like, oh crud, some of the original actors that were in the series had went on to other projects, and so now getting everybody coordinated back together to be able to do things was a challenge. There were a lot of things, but this is actually, they released the trailer. Okay. We saw the trailer at Gen Con. I'd actually seen the trailer like a day or two before because I was a backer. And it's going to be released soon. Well, you haven't watched Journey Quest, so
no, I haven't.
It would have been lost on you a bit. You should literally, instead of watching all of Netflix, you should watch Journey Quest. You'd really enjoy it.
I have not watched all Netflix. I have not watched the stuff for the toddlers.
No.
Okay,
so she skipped that, and quite a few animated things that are actually really good.
All right.
What else you got on your list?
Well, you know what? Since you went through the ones that are kind of not funding or taking a while, I'm going to go through my two that are taking a while. One, I don't think I'm going to get. It's called Mint Mini by Poketo. It's just these Mint tin games.
Poketo kind of go sideways backwards?
Yep, and I thought someone bought them, but then for some reason they never followed through on this. I had gotten all the other Mint tin games when they had gone out. I had backed them. They were just kind of fun to stick in the glove compartment and play. They were decent little games, but there's been no updates since it funded, so I'm pretty sure we're not getting that. About $10. It's it's a risk that you take.
your high risk games that you backed.
Well, then there's another one that I am not sure if it's going to fund. It's called Chai Tea for Two.
And this one you were really excited about, too.
I was really excited because I had missed the first Chai Kickstarter, and I had seen it, and it looked really cool. And then this one came out pretty short after it, so I backed this one. Well, Chai hasn't gone out to backers yet.
Oh, no.
And this one hasn't either. And I backed it to deluxe level because, hey, it sounded cool. You got, like, cool dice trays that were, like, I don't know. It was just... They do occasionally send updates, so
at least there's activity.
There is activity. They haven't completely gone silent.
Yeah, I think the Poketo one you're doomed, but
yeah. I mean, I would listen.
That would be the first time ever, though, we've had anything we've actually backed fail to deliver, completely fail.
Yes, I mean, and it would be nice if they were like, "Hey, we're not going to fulfill this," and just let us know if it's not going to get fulfilled, just so I can.
Whoever owns the rights probably. Has either daydreams of actually completing it or completely forgot about it and doesn't really realize they know it, they have it.
Yeah, so anyway, those are my two that are probably maybe one day going to just randomly show up and I'll be like, oh, hopefully you have that right address.
Well, I'm going to hop over to GameFound now. The list is getting shorter. I'm under half a page remaining.
I only have 2 games remaining.
All right, well... I've got, over on GameFound, right now it's currently running, this is an active project, is Nemesis Retaliation. Of course.
Gotta have all the Nemesis.
Gotta have all the Nemesis, because they're all great. And this one is absolutely, it is up there in some of my favorite games that I've ever played as a game, just like the single session of the game itself, the gameplay, it's been like right in there. And Awakened Realms has done such a brilliant job on the Nemesis story and trying to bring their version of aliens and humanity coming together and clashing in classic Aliens the movie fashion. And a lot of people refer to the Nemesis games as the Aliens the board game. But it definitely has its own universe and theme and stuff like that goes with it now. But I backed this at the Collector's Pledge, so I get all the cool bling and the stretch goals, and we'll see if we get a few more extra things for it, if there are some things that don't get included in the Collector's Pledge when it comes time to fill out that backer survey.
Yeah, Nemesis, our initial one, my second ever 3D printed project was for that game.
I did not realize that.
The first one was a bookmark just to figure out how it worked, and then the little for the monster's life they can stand them in there.
Yep.
And...
So next up is Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum from Night Games. This is Night Games is a subsidiary or whatever. I don't know exactly how it's going to be. It's basically Night Models. And I love all of the sculpts that Night Models does for the Batman miniature game. I'm a big Night Models fan, even though, like,
it's hard to
whatever.
Get over here at times, too.
But I'm active the Mastermind Pledge, so it's like the all-in, whatever, giant, give me everything. But all of the sculpts are supposed to be the same scale as the Batman miniature game sculpts, cool. And they're plastic, and some of those sculpts are actually sculpts for figures that are in the game currently today. So hopefully they will actually supplement BMG rules with some of these figures as well as they come out, or release these figures. The Harry Potter game actually just got released in plastic as well, so it's potential, or a bunch of models because they had the Catch a Snitch plastics, and then they just extended those plastics into Harry Potter. So maybe I'm getting a head start of having those plastic models for models they're going to release in the BMG game, because they did them in this and they have them made in plastic now.
That's how he's justifying it. It's going to be used for 2 games.
I mean, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it was definitely not a cheap one to back. So
does he
there's that.
Back cheap? This is why I can't back expensive Kickstarters.
No, this is not why you restrict yourself.
I do. One of us probably should.
One of us has a little sense, yes. All right, what else you got on your list?
Well, so this is an expansion for a game that we do enjoy. It's Foundations of Rome. So Roads of Fortune by Arcane Wonders. Yes, I love Foundations of Rome.
Which you didn't back.
But we do have now.
We do have, yes.
Right. Well,
I acquired it for you.
We will not go into the whole story about why I didn't back that game.
Because it was expensive.
And I couldn't get a demo at it at the first Gen Con. And they kept ignoring me while I was trying to get a demo of it. Well, they probably weren't ignoring me. I was just not being assertive and everything. So
it was your first Gen Con too.
It was, but
you didn't know how to manage the crowds like an expert Gen Conner that you are now.
That I am now. But anyway, love Foundations of Rome, and it's you're creating this city on this grid with other players, and you're putting your buildings on there. So it's kind of like tiling, city building, different types of, get you different things. So now this is an expansion to it. I backed it at the returning backer architect level. I forget exactly what's all included, but my guess is it's everything that, except for the initial game.
Which would be good, because we already have basically everything. We have the big full all-in pledge for the original game.
I really hope I didn't do.
And this game is not like Foundations of Rome is not a massively intense game, and this game could be just cardboard tiles on a board. Really, the point of playing Foundations of Rome is to play with all of these massive buildings. Structures. Yeah. Because the game itself is very enjoyable. I don't want to undersell the game, but it is very easy to learn.
It is.
And very straightforward.
But it means that it can get to the table on more of our game nights.
Oh, yes.
With a wider variety of gamers.
And it is
can play with.
Not quite the largest single box for a board game in our collection right now.
It
is ridiculously huge.
It's bigger than a milk crate.
It's not quite Everdell, the complete collection, but it is pretty darn close. It's definitely not as heavy as
that box. All right, what else you got on there?
All right, so ISS Vanguard. This was one that I've backed quite a while. Actually, this was backed pre-COVID as well.
Oh, yeah.
However, I backed it, and then when I filled out the pledge manager, I was like, oh yeah, just don't ship it to me in 2 waves. Just ship it to me in 1 wave. So ISS Vanguard is currently available in retail right now, and lots of people are playing it and having fun and saying what a great game it is. And I'm sitting there every time I go to Misty Mountain for our game nights, looking at it sitting on the shelf, going, why don't I have my copy? I think it's actually going to ship here with very early 2024. With the Wave 1, Wave 2 English versions, and I will finally have my copy of ISS Vanguard. I'm looking very forward to it. Again, this is a space themed game with a campaign mode and all of the kind of good stuff that comes in those space theme kind of exploration, whatever games. It should be a big game, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a game that the two of us will be able to play. Was kind of my indication. This just goes back to when I was also writing Kickstart Monday.
Yeah,
That this was definitely one that I was like, ooh, this one looks really good, and it's Awakened Realms. Awakened Realms doesn't do bad stuff. This will be a great game, and I'm looking forward to getting a hands on it. And I backed it at the Commander's Pledge, so there's lots of stuff coming. I didn't get everything that was coming out for this game, but I got quite a bit of stuff.
Oh, I don't know what happened with that. Well, I also have my last one on my list that I am waiting for. I've not been waiting that long for. Is a space game, but it's also an expansion. It's to Planet Unknown, Super Moon.
Super Moon!
Yep.
It's not a moon, it's a space station.
And I have...
Super Moon.
It's by Adam's Apple Games. I backed it at the expansion plus the lid for the Lazy Susan that is in the base game. Which will be nice because that'll help.
That will be nice. That is the single probably biggest complaint right now is that Lazy Susan stuff goes everywhere because it doesn't have a lid.
Yeah, but I have been a fan of Adam's Apple Games since I did some play testing with Adam at the Gamehole Con like 4 or 5 years ago. So it just, I want to just back it. I like Planet Unknown. It's on BGA now too, which is kind of fun. Not the same feel, but
no. If you don't have, I just don't find if you don't have that cool Lazy Susan in the middle of the table, it's just not the same feel. It's not the same game, even if you are mechanically doing the same stuff. So I'm going to hop over to Backer Kit for my final game on the list. This is the final game that we have crowdfunded currently, or gaming product that's crowdfunded currently.
Unless something randomly pops up.
Well, I can't say that we won't back anything else.
Oh, no. I mean, some mystery box that we didn't realize that we backed that wasn't on.
I'm pretty confident in my list.
I'm not. And mine.
I'm pretty confident in my list. I've got such a long list at this point of stuff that's outstanding that I am doing a pretty good job of tracking it and actually checking the boxes when I receive things.
Yeah.
You can do that on Kickstarter and kind of maintain the other like Game Found and Backer Kit. I don't have a lot of stuff at, so
yeah.
But over on Backer Kit, I have, and we talked about this one. It is the Sentinels of the Multiverse Desperation expansion from Greater Than Games.
Yes.
So I actually got the Desperation expansion plus the other expansions for Sentinels of the Multiverse. With
Sentinels is good.
You love Sentinels.
Oh, yeah.
I love Sentinels. This is basically the second edition of Sentinels expansions, not the first edition stuff. Yes. So, which runs like that version of it does run quite a bit better, and the decks and the characters have been rebalanced quite a bit, so it works pretty good together.
I mean, but the original is good too. So, like, if you have the original. And you're not playing this daily, it's, it works just fine. Yeah,
we pawned off our original stuff, which we had a ton of, to a friend of ours, and now we have this version. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to getting that one back, and I think that'll probably Greater Than Games is pretty good about turnaround, so we'll have that back in our hands sometime in 24 as well. So I saw good news coming on the updates. Fairly recently, I think, for that one. So yeah. So that is the list. That is all of the crowdfunding we've have out there right now.
I think your budget has gone over a little bit what we had thought our budgets each were.
Yeah, we had agreed at $500 a year crowdfunding before you needed to go get approval. Now I will say, like, a couple of mine. That are on here, like the really big spenders that were 2023 spenders, the gaming table and the BattleTech one were ones that we talked about, and I did get some approval before we just backed.
Yes.
But
with my 2023, I am definitely under 500.
I'm actually
a lot.
Like, outside of those two, I'm probably a little over for 23 backing, but not horribly over.
Even the things that have already come.
For trying to think of what I actually backed in 2023.
Oh, I've had a lot that I backed in 2023 that have already showed up.
Um,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know.
I'd have to actually go look. I think there were a few things that showed up, so maybe I'm a bit more over than I think. I'm probably closer to $1,000 outside of the stuff that we talked about. But yeah, I mean,
It's okay.
that we're not complaining. There's a
It's,
reason why the collection has grown to be almost 750 titles now, with expansions counted in there. So
yes,
um,
I'm actually really excited for a lot that I am seeing that are supposed to come out in 2024.
oh yeah, I'm
So,
there's everything that's on the list.
well, that are supposed to,
I'm
I'm
really
supposed to
excited
gonna
for.
launch in 2024.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna have to try to probably be a little more careful with it. But I'm some of that glam of the Kickstarter stuff, because I'm not doing the Kickstart Mondays anymore, is really helping. Like,
yeah,
that
I'm
was
still
definitely
reading
part of the
them.
reason why I needed to step away from doing that blog series. I'm glad Justin took it over, which you can catch every Monday at wiscodice.com. Make sure you check it out, and especially if you have a Kickstarter addiction like I do.
Yes. So, anyway, yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear what your favorite Kickstarter you got that, or not Kickstarter, crowdfunding project that you got this year, received that came in, or what you were waiting on. Because there are just so many out there that are good that,
Yeah, let
I
us know.
want
Let
to
us know in the
look
comments
on.
below what crowdfunding projects you're excited to about, either waiting to receive or that you actually got in your hands this year. We'd love to hear
Yeah.
about those crowdfunding projects.
Or something you think I should be on the lookout for in the
Oh yeah, we can
2024.
definitely point us in the right direction for how we can spend our money. That
I
we
actually kind of
appreciate that.
prefer crowdfunding sometimes than going and getting them at the game store. This because I like the reading, like about from the designers and like how the progress is going and kind of tracking the development of the game that way, and
It's a
all the
fascinating
hype
part
that
of the
a lot of
process.
people have their comments, and a lot of times I'll join like the Facebook groups or other social media groups for different games to just kind of follow along and get excited about it.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, there are so many great games out there, though. Like, we have these huge lists of games on that we're backing on crowdfunding. It's just like a drop in the hat of
oh
all the
yeah.
games that are out there that we want to try and play. So yeah, let us know what games you're backing, which games you like. Just drop it in the comments below. Would absolutely love to hear about it. And thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And of course, enjoy your coffee
Yes.
or whatever you're drinking while you're watching this.
Yes.
Hey there, it's Conesy. Thank you so much for watching. We put out videos weekly here at Wisco Dice. Check out our channel for more great videos, and don't forget to subscribe. We also have more great content on our website at wiscodice.com. Of course, we do this all for you, the viewers, so please like the video if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.